Hello, Witch Kitten here. Today I'm going to do the Booktube Newbie. The Booktube Newbie Tag. This is like my third or fourth video, so we'll just see how this goes. First, why did you start your channel? I have been a long-time viewer of Booktube for, oh god, years. It's been a few years now since I first discovered it, and I was like, how is this a thing? I didn't know about this. It's awesome. And I've been watching and kind of mostly lurking but commenting a little bit, and it's been really fun seeing people, you know, what they come up with, the creativity, what are new books, what are people's opinions, who am I similar to, where I can get interesting, you know, recommendations. And I just thought, especially now being in quarantine, it's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I thought, why don't we just get started and not be scared and just give it a try. Also, to make friends. I don't really go out. I kind of go to work and then I come home, and that's kind of it. And I don't really have a lot of reading friends, and I thought it would be a great way to meet some fellow readers, kind of connect with the community, make some friends, get into some, you know, readathons, some bookish fun things, be social, you know. Question 2, what are some fun and unique things that I could bring to Booktube? There are some books that nobody really talks about on Booktube that I would like to talk about, that are amazing and that are just very near and dear to my heart, and I don't hear anybody talking about them. So I feel like that's something I could bring, is maybe some new books that maybe aren't new releases right now, but books that I've read in the past that are so good, and I think they need more attention. What am I most excited about for this new channel? So kind of like I mentioned earlier, to hopefully make some new friends. Hopefully it's going to inspire me to read more, because we all go through kind of that, like, you're reading and then you're in a slump, and sometimes it's like, no matter what I'm reading, I'm just like, ugh, I'm just not interested, and I hate that. So I'm hoping that this will kind of keep everything fresh, keeping it exciting, and keeping my TBR always full. Question 4, why do I love reading? I mean, why don't I love reading? It's exciting, it's relaxing, it's quiet time, which I'm like an omnivert who is mostly an introvert, but I don't mind dealing with people. But sometimes it's just a lot. You know, you go through a day of work and you're like, okay, I'm ready to just like have some quiet time. So it's still kind of like you're going out on an adventure, but you're at home in your pajamas, or, you know, no pants life, and just, you know, exploring new things. It's kind of like you're traveling, but you're staying at home. Next, what book or series got me into reading? So my dad used to read to me all the time when I was young, and that's really what kind of inspired and fostered a love of reading for me, is reading together with him when I was younger. So he would read to me, and then when I got old enough, I would read to him. And one of the first like novels, more like adult novels, that I picked up was a fantasy book called Rhapsody by Elizabeth Hayden. So this series, there's Rhapsody, Prophecy, ooh, these are big babies, and Destiny. So he had the mass market paperbacks, and then when I got older, I needed the hard copies for myself because I just love them so much. So I found them used, and so these are epic fantasy, and I don't really know what it was, if I just was like really lucky that I stumbled upon these, but I absolutely love them to this day. Follows our main character, Rhapsody, who is a half-elf, kind of. She has this like singing kind of lyrical power, so music has magic to it, whether it's like healing or naming, or there's kind of, I don't want to like give too much away, but she basically is trying to escape from this bad dude and stumbles upon Ahmed and Grunthor, which are also on the cover, who are basically just like also running away from something, and they kind of get thrust into this journey together. it's just amazing. There's dragons and magic and ancient evil and romance, and it's one of my favorite books of all time, and I just love it to death, and you should all pick it up and read it. What questions would I ask other bootubers? How do you say words? How do you say words? That's what I would ask them. What would I ask other booktubers? What do you love to watch? What are your favorite videos to make? What are tips and tricks that you find for like editing and filming and not sounding like a loser on camera? Because I feel like that's me. Let's just talk books. Let's just talk about all the books. What challenges will be the hardest to overcome? I think probably editing for me is difficult just because, one, I am new to video editing, so like it's just, you know, I'm learning that, but just like looking at myself and listening to myself, like getting over the self-loathing, which like I just, you know, you just have to like learn to love yourself, and I'm like, ugh. So I think that's gonna be the hardest part for me. And learning all these people have all these cool tricks with editing, like making things look so cool, and I'm just like, I don't know. Here's two pieces, I put them together, look at me. But it's been fun. I love learning new things, so learning how to edit is gonna be one of those. When did I start reading? So like I said, I started reading with my dad. I was, oh god, like since before I could like talk, like they would always read to me. And then as I got older, I was in preschool and kindergarten when I actually like could read on my own. So then I would start reading to him. And some of the books that we got into, the Junie B. Jones books, we would read them and just laugh our heads off. And so that's when I really remember like starting reading. So I was like, yeah, reading more like for fun, I guess, like aside from with my dad was like grade 1, grade 2. Number 9, where do I read? Where do I not read? At home, I have a deck chair lounger that I sit on outside when the weather's nice and read, and it's glorious. On my couch, in the tub, in bed. I listen to audiobooks a lot when I'm walking to and from work or just going out to get some exercise. That's a great way to listen to audiobooks. And it's a nice way to kind of like decompress the day, like after work, walking home. I used to just walk and that was fine too, but listening to an audiobook is kind of like, I don't know, it's calming and you're focusing on something, but it's also not like really mentally intense. And last, what kind of books do I like to read? Mostly all kinds. Someone mentioned, I can't remember whose video it was now, but they're like prairie romance, which apparently that's a thing. She didn't like reading those, but I didn't even know that was a thing, so like who knows. Probably not prairie romance, but fantasy is my biggest. I'm a big lover of fantasy for sure. I've recently been getting more into like kind of thriller, like suspense novels, which are fun. I like YA, I like adult, but I would say mostly fantasy. All right, well that wraps up my newbie tag. I hope you guys had fun. It was fun for me to make. I love learning about fellow YouTubers and making new friends, and I hope that, you know, we can connect in the future and talk about books. Goodbye.